What's going on, guys? Tyler Forever 3. I'm back here with another mock draft on this channel. This is the first 2-round mock draft I'm doing. If you end up enjoying the video, like, subscribe, and let's get going.
Alright, at number 1, we got Evan Neal. Evan Neal jumped his way up at number 1 to the Jags. In my last mock draft, the Jags went Kayvon Thibodeaux, but due to positional value, the Jaguars can't pass on a player as good as Evan Neal at a position as big of a need as offensive tackle for them. Evan Neal is a huge, strong, explosive. I mean, he's definitely worth this pick at number 1. Alright, Kayvon falls one spot to number 2 to the Lions. Now, the Lions get arguably the best player in this draft class. A top 2 edge rusher in this class. For sure, depending on how you feel about Aiden Hutchinson. He's either 1 or 2. And the Lions get they really need a cornerstone edge rusher to build their young defense around. And Kayvon is that guy. Top tier athlete, but he also has got that great technical ability as well. Aiden Hutchinson falls one spot to the Texans. Now, Aiden shot up everybody's draft boards this season. However, in the college football playoffs, Aiden didn't have a great showing, so a lot of people kind of lost their hype on him a little bit, or at least dropped him a little bit down. I still think he's a really good player. I have him here at number 3. Texans have so many holes to fill on this team, and getting an edge rusher like Aiden Hutchinson, just kind of while we rebuild this team for the next couple of seasons, I think it makes a ton of sense. Texans get a really nice player here on defense. Alright, now Ikem Ekwonu at number 4 to the Jets. The Jets need offensive line help. They got to help out Zach Wilson, that young quarterback. And Ikem's a guy who could even slide into guard if you really want him to, or if you need the flexibility. Mekhi Becton has struggled with injuries, so this pick, you have a flexible offensive line. You can bounce guys wherever you want. And Ikem's a super scary prospect and just a mauler in run blocking. I think Ikem Ekwonu at 4 to the Jets is a really nice pick for him. Alright, George Karlaftis at number 5 to the Giants. George Karlaftis out of Purdue. Giants need edge help so bad and getting a huge, strong defensive end. Just hold down that position for a long time. I mean, that's a really good idea, and he might be the best power rusher in this draft class. Giants don't have anything off the edge. I mean, Azeez Ojulari was their second-round pick last season, and he played good football this season, so he's a good player. But I mean, you gotta get edge rushers. That's like the second most important position on a football team, the most important position on the defense, and you can never have enough of them. So George Karlaftis at number 5 to the Giants. All right, number 6 to the Panthers. They get Charles Cross. I mean, this Panthers team is really interesting. I don't want to say that they're a garbage team, but I mean, they need a quarterback. But if they draft one right now, if they draft Kenny Pickett right now, I don't really see how he succeeds with that offensive line. It's going to be a struggle for him. I think it's going to be the same situation that they have with like Sam Darnold. They might lose their best offensive lineman, the tackle Taylor Moton, in free agency. He might not want to come back. And if you can't just pay him a boatload of money and he walks away, then you really got no pieces on this offensive line. So I think you just draft the best one available here, and I think Charles Cross at 6 is the way to go. Now, Nakobe Dean at number 7. I get it. It's a lot of you guys probably think it's way too rich to take Nakobe here. I really like Nakobe Dean. He's got that sideline to sideline speed that you look for in a cover, in a cover linebacker, I guess. And I mean, he can cover, stuff the run. He's got a really nice football IQ. I think he's just the complete package. I really like Nakobe Dean. He's gonna be a really good player. Now at number 8, we got Kyle Hamilton to the Falcons. Now, I get it. This is an interesting pick. I think that at number 8, the Falcons need a safety. I don't really see how you can just pass Kyle Hamilton because he's just that good. I mean, he's the Kyle Pitts of this draft. An incredible player to position that's not very valuable, and, where you got to spend a top 10 pick on it. But I just kind of like that unicorn who is an incredible player, but at a position that's not thought of highly in the draft. And Kyle's phenomenal. He can literally do everything you want him to on defense. He's probably the best. I mean, he could be the best safety in the league in just a couple years. He's pretty easily the best safety in this draft class, and this is a really good safety draft class, and he's the best one by a lot. That says a lot. I completely understand if you think that this is a bad pick. for the Falcons, I mean, in like 5 years, if the Falcons have to pay, like, their 2 top paid players are Kyle Pitts and Kyle Hamilton, and then like you're paying a tight end and a safety huge money. I get that. That's not really where you want to be at, but I mean, Kyle Hamilton, he's just such a good player, and Falcons get a really good player on defense.
All right, the first quarterback off the board, the Broncos get Kenny Pickett. They replace Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Finally get that future guy. Kenny Pickett has played the best college football out of all of the quarterbacks in this draft class. I mean, he's got really nice accuracy. He might have the best accuracy in this draft class, and he doesn't have the athleticism that a couple other guys do that we'll talk about later. I mean, Kenny Pickett might just be the best all-around package in this draft class, and the Broncos get their guy for the future. I mean, if they don't fix this quarterback problem in free agency by either trading for a guy or maybe even like signing Jameis Winston, I think you take one at this spot. Maybe you take one in the second round, or in my opinion, I think you take one in the first round. I mean, obviously that's unless you get Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, or Russell Wilson in free agency. I think Kenny Pickett's the way to go. All right, number 10, we got Derek Stingley. He fell 7 spots here since my last mock draft to number 10. I was tempted to go at Stingley at 4 for the Jets, but he literally fell to them at 10 anyways, so it all worked out. Now, Stingley's the best corner in this draft class, in my opinion. He had one of the best freshman seasons for a cornerback of all time, just a few years back on the Joe Burrow team. I think it was 2020. And I mean, I still think he's a top 10 player in this draft class. He's a really good corner prospect. That's all I got to say. All right, Matt Corral to Washington at 11. I think Washington will go quarterback either here or maybe wait till the second round, because spoilers, a couple guys are going to drop to the second round. Heineke, he's just not the guy. As much as I hate saying that, I don't think he can be your future quarterback. Corral is the package at quarterback, and he can make all the throws. He has really nice arm talent. He can push the ball down the field. He can make all of the throws at all the angles you need him to. And I mean, he can even extend plays with his feet. Matt Corral is my number 1 quarterback in this draft class right now, and I think that Washington's a really good spot for him. All right, we got DeMarvin Leal to the Vikings at 12. Now, Leal was mocked super high for a really long time for most people, and a lot of people have cooled on him. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just not as high on him right now as they once were. A lot of people don't even have him in their first round anymore. I still think he's a really good player. I really like the versatility that comes with him. He's just a super versatile defensive lineman that could make a big impact on this defense. I know Leal was just arrested for possession of marijuana a few days ago, but I don't think that's going to drop him very far. DeMarvin Leal here to the Vikings at 12. All right, David Ojabo at 13 to the Browns. This might be the best situation in the entire draft class for David Ojabo. He literally goes from teaming up with Aiden Hutchinson in Michigan to teaming up with Myles Garrett in Cleveland. Like, man, this guy is literally just set up for success. Ojabo was super talented. He's got really nice bend coming off the edge. That's what you look for in edge rushers, and he's got a really nice first step. He's going to get around the tackles pretty easily. This guy's really good. I mean, Myles Garrett's going to have a lot of fun with him. All right, Tyler Linderbaum, the best center in college football, goes to a team that really needs a center. I mean, pretty easy, makes a lot of sense. He's got really good athleticism. He's got a nice football IQ. He's got good technique, good first step. I mean, Tyler Linderbaum's as close to a can't-miss prospect as you can get. Lamar Jackson's got a center for the future. Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson to the Eagles. He's pretty interesting. Booth is a willing and able tackler. He's a good tackler. He's got really nice versatile. He's a really good versatile defensive back. And when you're drafting a cornerback in the first round, it's really nice to get some versatility out there. You can play him really wherever you want. He's even an excellent run defender for a cornerback. And at his position, those added
just those tiny added ones really improve his stock and make him a really rounded, well player. Alright, now Trayvon Walker, edge rusher out of Georgia. This is a really good prospect. I mean, I don't think that he's in that same level as Kayvon or Aiden, but that second tier with like David Ajobo and George Karlaftis, and then Trayvon Walker kind of slides right in there. I think you plug Trayvon in that Brandon Graham role, and he's going to find a lot of success on this defense.
All right, we got Jordan Davis to the Chargers at 17. Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Jordan Davis, he's just a huge, strong run stopper. You know, I don't really want to call him a nose tackle, but I think that's a role that he's going to find in the NFL. I do think that he has the ability to be a pass rusher, and I think he can do a lot more than just stop the run. I don't know. I just think that's how his game's going to translate to the NFL. He has nice technique with his hands, and he's just got incredible power to just bully the offensive line. This guy he's insanely huge. He's a monster. All right, we got Garrett Wilson to the Saints. Saints need a Truex receiver. Michael Thomas has battled with just a ton of stuff, and the Saints just really need a replacement, or even not a replacement, but just a complementary piece. Garrett Wilson, he's got really good route running, and he can literally get open like with ease. He's got really good hands, and in the NFL, I think he's got the potential to just be a true number one receiver. All right, Treylon Burks to the Eagles. Treylon's another one of my favorite players in this draft class. An NFL comparison I'm hearing a lot of recently is Deebo Samuel. And I don't hate it. I think they have very similar play styles. The Eagles could definitely take another first-round receiver, but I think that Treylon is just so different from anything that they have on their team right now. You know, you could go Chris Olave. You could go... I mean, I guess if Garrett Wilson falls here, you could go Garrett Wilson. You could go Jameson Williams. I just think that Treylon Burks would just be such a nice complementary piece to Devontae Smith and just be something that this team doesn't have, rather than take like Chris Olave and then you got, you know, two guys. And I just think Treylon, it just does something that this team doesn't have. Treylon, he's a really fun player. You can do literally whatever you want him to do, and just abuse that defense. All right, Sam Howell to the Steelers at number 20. Big Ben's having his last couple of games here. He might have his last game in the wild card here. He's going to finish off the playoffs, and then I assume he's going to retire. He really should. The Steelers just need a replacement, and they take Sam Howell here to fill that gap at quarterback. All right, Roger McCreary to the Patriots at 21. McCreary, he's an elite man coverage corner. Arguably the best in the class. He's a monster in man coverage. And the thing is that he's also one of the best zone corners in the class. I mean, he just shows exceptional ball skills, and he's even a really good tackler. He's kind of just like the complete package. He can do it all. Roger McCreary is a really good player, and the Patriots get a really, really good cornerback. All right, Jameson Williams to the Dolphins at 22. And, in the college football championship game against Georgia, he tore his ACL, and that really sucks. Let's all hope that he makes a full recovery, so prayers up. Hope rehab goes well, Jameson. Now, Jameson is one of the most explosive receivers in this class. He's got incredible route running and great speed, and he's just that... he's an all-around really good receiver, and the Dolphins just get another Alabama player to add to Tua and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, I don't think that this ACL tear is going to, hurt Jameson that much in the long term. Nowadays players bounce back from ACL injuries all the time. So, yeah, I still think Jameson's a really good player. So here at 22 to the Dolphins. All right, Kenyon Green to the Raiders. This one's a pretty easy pick. Raiders need offensive line, and Kenyon, I think right now, how the way the boards fell out, I think he's the best one available. He's super versatile. You can play him wherever you want, play him at all 5 positions. And you kind of need to slowly rebuild this offensive line. At one point, it had multiple really good pieces, and then you kind of lost all of them. So now you got to kind of slowly rebuild that up. You took a first-round pick last year in Alex Leatherwood, so just continue to build it up. All right, so we got Sauce Gardner here to the Cardinals at 24. The Cardinals really need corner. It's one of the very few holes on this team, and And Sauce Gardner's, he's plenty of people's number one corner. He projects to be a better zone corner in the NFL, but he can still do everything you really need in a man corner as well. He's a really good cornerback. He's athletic, and Cardinals get a really good corner too. I guess to fill the gap that they don't really have one right now.
Nicholas Petit-Frere to the Bengals at 25. He has really good length combined with good technique to make him just a really dangerous tackle in the next level. He has nice balance and above average athleticism for a guy his size. The Bengals just should really build up that offensive line this offseason. Maybe pay a couple guys to come in, draft a couple linemen, and then already this offensive line is looking pretty dangerous. Alright, Chris Olave to the Bills. Now this is just such a fun pick. Obviously Chris Olave is just such a good receiver. Bills could use some extra talent at wideout, and there are very few that have as much talent as Olave. He's just so explosive. He's a deep threat in the slot, and Josh Allen could have a lot of fun throwing it 60 yards down the field to Olave. Alright, Devin Lloyd to the Lions at 27. Lloyd is just a really good linebacker prospect, and the Lions could really use someone with his talents on defense. The Lions got Kayvon Thibodeaux with the second pick, and just continue to build up that defense, and already 2 picks into the draft starting to look very scary. Devin Lloyd is a very good tackler. He's willing in pass coverage, and he's a physical run defender. This is a really fun player here for the Lions. Alright, Daxton Hill, the second safety gone. Now for me, I think that this pick is just a luxury pick for the Cowboys. They could literally do whatever they want with this. Obviously outside of a quarterback or a running back. But when I look at the Cowboys roster, the biggest hole that I see is at safety. So I just brought in Daxton Hill to just be a versatile defensive back for him. I don't think that you can go wrong here for the Cowboys. Literally just draft, a position of need. Which you don't really have, so then just draft the best player available in your eyes. There's a couple ways you can look at it. Alright, Jahan Dotson to the Chiefs. This is an insane pick. Jahan is, one of the best route runners in this draft class, and he just adds a lot of depth to this Chiefs receiving room, who just have a ton of speed. But adding a route technician like Jahan Dotson, that just makes this offense so much more scary. This team is already one of the best offenses in the league, and just getting another weapon that, does something other than just running straight down the field. Obviously Tyreek Hill, he's really good. He can do everything, but just getting someone like Jahan Dotson could literally just completely change this offense. And you get Mahomes just another weapon. Pretty crazy. Alright, Darian Kinnard to the Bucks. Now I say this every single mock draft, but I never know what to give the Buccaneers because I don't really see any problems on that entire roster. So I just went with Darian Kinnard. You can plug him in at guard, and it just gives him a nice long-term upgrade at guard, and make this offensive line even better. Alright, Kaiir Elam to the Titans at 31. Now Elam is best at man coverage when he's up on the receivers playing press. However, he has shown that he can be successful not doing that, but that's definitely where he's best at. He's best suited for a zone corner in the NFL, but overall, he can just do a little bit of everything, and he can help that Titans secondary out big time, who, arguably have the best safety in the league in Kevin Byard. Now, the last pick of the first round to the Packers, I go Drake London. Drake London is a high-risk, high-reward type player. If the Packers lose Devontae in free agency, getting a huge body like Drake London could help this team out a lot. He's pretty raw, but if he touches up some route packages and separation technique, drafting him for the upside could definitely be worth it.
Alright, so we have Jermaine Johnson here to the Jaguars. Now the Jags pass on Kayvon or Aiden at number 1, and they take a tackle, Evan Neal. So I'm just going to take an edge rusher here at the top of the second round, Jermaine Johnson at 33. He's got a really nice first step, and he's really quick off the edge. Just, all around, he's a pretty good player. Trent McDuffie to the Lions. I pass on a quarterback for the Lions, and they're just going to put their names in the quarterback sweepstakes next season. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and just sit this season out with Jared Goff. Now, Trent McDuffie is a very good man and zone corner, and he's a good tackler, very versatile, and the Lions have a chess piece on defense now. And I mean, 3 picks on defense so far for the Lions. 3 really good defensive players. You got an edge rusher, a linebacker, and now a corner. So, I mean, Lions defense, watch out. Jaquan Brisker to the Jets. Just too good a pass up here for the Jets. Jets get a really nice overhang defender. He's got a really wide tackling radius and super versatile. He could literally play every single role you put him at. And Robert Saleh and company have a fun player to move around. Now Bernard Raymond to the Giants. This is a guy that I didn't really know that much about until making this video, and looking at him and looking into him a little bit, he looks really good. A really fluent tackle that has no problem getting out and making blocks. Not many problems with his lengths, and he has got nice athleticism. The Giants passed on O-line in the first round, but they make up for it here. Darian Kendrick to the Texans. Now Darian is not a man corner really at all. He's certainly better in zone coverage. So this pick might be a little rich for Kendrick, but I do like the upside. Technique, he might not be on the same level as some other guys, but I like the fluent movement he has. He doesn't really have that great speed that you look for, but I still do like the upside here. Jets go interior offensive lineman Zion Johnson, and the Jets should bump this O-line up just a little bit more, make them a little bit better, and getting the best interior offensive lineman available, it helps out a lot. This is an aggressive guy who at Boston College ran a zone run heavy offense, and he's going to translate to nice to the NFL. All right, we got George Pickens to the Bears. Allen Robinson is gone, and he should leave, get paid somewhere else, and go to a true contender. George Pickens is the X receiver, while Mooney kind of plays a complementary role. Is a really nice 1-2 punch for Justin Fields in the next couple of years. All right, Trevor Penning falls to the Broncos. I really love the idea of drafting a quarterback and then a tackle later in the draft. Kenny Pickett gets his future cornerstone tackle. Trevor Penning, he's got a lot of upside. He's a pretty athletic dude. And Broncos, hopefully they plug a hole there at offensive line. Martin Emerson is a good press man corner from what we have seen. But at Mississippi State, they ran mostly just zone coverage. So we have seen a lot bigger sample size than we have with man coverage. So you have to project his skill set to the NFL and just hope that it translates nice. All right, Daniel, I could pronounce this wrong, Daniel Faalele. He's just a really fun player, mainly because this dude's just huge. He's 6'8", 380 pounds, and yet he can still move a bit. I mean, he can move for being like nearly 400 pounds. If Washington just throws him out at right tackle and just put his arms out and not let anybody around him, this would help out the first round pick that I had for them in Matt Corral big time. All right, the first quarterback here in the second round, I have the Falcons take a shot at Malik Willis to be their future quarterback. I said in my last mock draft that he reminds me a lot of a runner like to Cam Newton. I think that's a pretty good comparison, like running wise. Just a big, strong, powerful runner. Now Malik is a very interesting player. This is another guy who has a super high risk but super high reward. He could be really bad, he could be really good. I guess we're just gonna have to find out and see, and whoever takes a shot on him. And the Falcons take a gamble. Who knows if it doesn't work, then they'll just enter their names in the Bryce Young sweepstakes next season. So worst case scenario, you kind of just lose a second round pick. Now David Bell to the Browns. David is, he's a pretty good route runner. He doesn't have that crazy speed or athleticism that most receivers have nowadays, but this guy can go up and high point the football. He's a really nice catcher, and just due to his nice route running, he's open pretty much all the time. He's a really good player. All right, Ravens get a edge rusher, Kingsley Enagbare. So they get a super athletic guy with a quick first step. He's got really nice bend, he's super flexible, and has really nice hand counters. I could see this guy going up a ton of boards once the combine comes around, and he's able to show his athleticism and just speed. He's a good player. Jordan Battle to the Vikings. Vikings take a safety to maybe replace Harrison Smith in a few years' time. Jordan Battle's best trait is tackling. He's just a phenomenal tackler. You're never going to see him miss. He's a super versatile defensive back with really good range. You play overhang. You can play him opposite of Harrison Smith for a couple years, and then once he retires, once you move on from him, you can slide him to strong side and play him there. All right, Desmond Ridder to the Colts. The Colts get a project quarterback. Ridder is a lot of people's number one quarterback in this class, and right now I'm not quite there. I still think like Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett are a little bit better. He shows flashes of great accuracy, and has shown that he can constantly put the ball into tight windows and make tough passes. He shows very inconsistent decision making, but the upside with Ridder could be too good for the Colts to pass up here in the second round. All right, we got Drake Jackson to the Chargers here in the second round. The Chargers defense knocked them out of the playoffs, so they take another front seven player, just like they did in the first round with Jordan Davis, and they go Drake Jackson. He's shown flashes to be a first round caliber player, but he just hasn't shown it consistently enough to really make it happen. He definitely has the talent. We just got to see him be more consistent. All right, Carson Strong to the Saints. Now Carson has a really good arm and can make most throws in the pocket. He's very limited. He's got very limited movement and rarely leaves the pocket. He shows quick, decisive decision making to get the ball out of his hands quick, and he just knows when to get the ball away. He's a talented quarterback, and the Saints take a shot here with Carson Strong. All right, so the first running back off the board here, the Dolphins go Kenneth Walker. Now, I completely get it. Why would the Dolphins take a running back when their offensive line isn't great? I think you just throw all the pieces you can at Tua, and you just sign some offensive linemen in free agency. There's going to be some good offensive linemen available. Sign one or two, and then just hit on some later round picks on the O-line. Kenneth Walker has great ball carrier vision, good footwork, he's super explosive, and he's even versatile. He can even catch the ball as well. Kenneth Walker definitely should be somewhere in this 2-round mock draft, and I think that the Dolphins could take a shot at one. All right, Christian Harris to the Eagles. The Eagles could really use an off-the-ball linebacker, and drafting one with as much potential as Harris makes sense. He's a super raw prospect, and most people expected him to take that huge jump this season, which he just didn't. However, a team in the second round could definitely take a shot and hope to develop his natural skills and kind of refine his technique. All right, Abraham Lucas to the Steelers. So once again, a team takes a quarterback in the first, and then they get his tackle in the second. I did that with the Broncos, did it with Washington, and now I'm doing it with the Steelers. Now Lucas has very clean, smooth footwork in his pass set. You see him play with aggression and toughness. He's not a standout athlete. He can still move laterally pretty well. And then the Steelers just kind of get a plug-and-play tackle. You can play him on either side you want to. And yeah, hopefully you get your tackle for the future for Sam Howell. All right, Pritchett is a good corner. He's very good in man and zone coverage, and he's mainly a boundary quarterback. You should try to keep him on the outside as much as possible. He lacks that true versatility that you do like to find in a cornerback, but his coverage certainly makes up for it. He's got really nice ball skills, and he shows moments of like good tackling, and just all around a pretty good cornerback. All right, we got Devontae Wyatt to the Raiders. So the Raiders don't have a ton of interior defensive line. They have a good duo coming off the edge of Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. But Wyatt has very good quickness and flexibility, and just all around a good athlete. He's a pretty good run defender, but he's got all the tools to be really successful in the NFL. All right, so John Mechie to the Patriots. This draft for the Patriots is as close to perfect as you can get. You take a really nice corner in the first round at McCreary, and then you take a really good receiver in the second round in John Mechie. I mean, this is just perfect for the Patriots. Mechie was a first-round receiver going into the season, but I think he fell a little bit just because he didn't really take that next step, and also because he kind of got overshadowed by his teammate, Jameson Williams, who's now arguably the best wide receiver in this draft class. But Mechie's a really good route runner, and he uses his explosiveness to create separation. Alright, Cameron Thomas has an incredible first step and gets off the line quick. He's a really big guy, so sometimes he has trouble getting around tackles, but he has shown some bend. And he is a phenomenal run defender, and the Cardinals get a really nice long-term edge rusher. The Bengals take a really fun player at tight end, and the best in the class in Trey McBride. So Joe Burrow has so many weapons, but getting a really good tight end really just adds a whole nother level to this offense. McBride has really good hands, and he's a good athlete. One of his best traits is his versatility, so you can literally do whatever you want with him on offense, and the Bengals just get a really good tight end. Alright, Sean Ryan here is a good power run blocker and has shown success in pass sets. He's certainly a project that would have to develop better technique-wise. He's a really good athlete with good mobility. He doesn't have the length to play tackle in the NFL, but as long as you keep him at guard, he'll be fine and successful. Good athlete, needs to work on his technique, but otherwise he could be a good prospect. Alright, Logan Hall to the Cowboys. So Hall has incredible explosiveness with a great first step, and having good flexibility and being a good athlete. He's got all the tools to be really good. He's got a lot of potential in the NFL. Nick Benito to the Broncos. Nick is the complete package. You know, one of the things about him is that he's just got an insane first step that people don't really see that often. You know, I say about a lot of people in this class that they have a good first step, and Nick Benito is really, like, he might have the best. So he's got really good flexibility and bend, and he's able to gain the edge super quick. His hands are alright. He doesn't have good power with them, but he's got really nice hand counters to make up for it. So Nick Benito, he's a really good player. Alright, we have Sanders to the Chiefs. So don't forget that earlier in the year, the Chiefs' defense was really bad. Recently, it has been a lot better, but I think you still should take a shot at a long-term project at edge, and Sanders is that guy. Sanders has good flexibility and explosiveness to be a good NFL player. Alright, we got Kyler Gordon here at 62 to the Buccaneers. Now, due to his agility and quickness, he's really good in man coverage. The Buccaneers don't have many problems on their team, but they have struggled with injuries at corner this year. So maybe getting some depth here and developing him to take over the starting role in a few years could be the smart move. Josh Pascal of the Falcons here. He's a very versatile defender who can fit in any scheme you need him to. He's got good twitch and he's super bendy. This is a guy with a lot of potential, and if he's able to develop his skills, he's got that perfect mesh with athlete and technique. Good player with nice upside. Alright, last pick of the second round, last pick of the mock draft, Darian Beavers to the Packers. So Beavers was a high school wide receiver and safety, and then he put on a ton of weight to now be at 278 at linebacker. So he has the coverage ability due to his experience and just playing the positions at safety when he was in high school. And he's got the athleticism and flexibility to be a really good quick linebacker. He's a strong, tough tackler and doesn't give up much. He's good in zone coverage. He's an excellent run defender. Just another player with a ton of potential. I can't wait to see what he does in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, subscribe, like, and come back for the next one. See you guys.
Thank you.